I'm Burley Mullins, this is Method of the Meadness, and today we're going to be bottling this variant. Thor's Mead from Marvel's What If. I know there was already just a primary video and no moving into secondary. That is because this is going to be a sparkling mead. I'm doing it in bottles and another container that you'll see really soon. And I've done this before with the Cup of Cheer from Redwall. So if you want to check that out, that'll be posted up here. Let's get to it. If you saw that intro, you're already aware that we're going to be bottling the Thor's Mead from Marvel's What If. And I alluded to another container. Well, our good friends at Homebrew Ohio sent me this. A Mini-Keg that does basically bottle carbonation. You can get kits to make these force carbonated with like carbon dioxide tanks or cartridges. And I've done forced carbon dioxide kegging before with beer when I was working with a couple of buddies back in college. But I don't want to spend the money on that, and I don't really have the space right now for a kegging operation. And I figure for a batch this small, you know, it's not worth it unless I do something like this. I'll let you know how this goes, and hopefully it even force carbonates at all. First things first, I'm going to put the priming sugar in this, and this is 5 liters. So, let's see, we want this in grams. We want about just under 60 grams of honey. A lot of people use regular sugar for priming purposes, and it makes a lot of sense. Sugar does dissolve a lot easier. It's just that I had honey handy, and I happen to know the conversions. There's calculators online, they're all pretty good. Northern Brewer has one, it's fantastic. For something like this, I'm going to go with the calculators. For the bottles, I'm going to show you in a second. I just eyeball it. I've gotten pretty used to it. And you'll see what it looks like when we get there. Alright, we're there. I ended up with 59 grams of honey for the priming sugar. I'm going to write that down. You know, as Mythbusters said, the difference between science and screwing around is writing stuff down. So let's write it down. And that's the last we'll need of this for the time being. Glory to the time being. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and fill this up directly from the fermenter, from the spout. You'll probably want to use a vinyl tube for this. Can't find mine. So a little bit of oxygen is going to get into this. That might help with the bottle fermentation. But ideally, you would not want any. You know, those big meaderies and breweries have like carbon dioxide tanks that they push, you know, and they pressure siphon and bottle with. Really, really cool, but you know, this is an at-home operation. I'm using, you know, a $5 fermenter that I got from Goodwill here. Like, yes, I'm gonna get a giant tank of carbon dioxide to push my fermentation through, and so you're gonna want to loosen the little bit so that some air can get in, and just fill it up. I'm probably gonna skip through this if I'm gonna be totally honest in the edit. You know, it's just pouring through a spout. Real riveting content for YouTube. Much like my cane siphon, the spigot for this is up off the bottom of the fermenter a little bit. This keeps it off of the yeast bed, the little cake at the bottom. There's still plenty of yeast circulating in the in the mead itself, the Braggot. And that'll be what reactivates on this priming honey and gets it to carbonate. I'll put a link to this keg below, along with, you know, a couple of other pieces of equipment that you've seen me use, you know, on this video and in this channel. You know, full disclosure, I do get a little bit of money from that. It doesn't add any to your cost of purchase. It just gives me a percentage. And they have good stuff. I can vouch. We used a couple other things for this specific mead, actually. And they have a lot of the same stuff that I already have. Good reputable brands, good reputable equipment. Join with my links below, so they want me to stick around as a creator and affiliate. This smells really good. I'm excited. I should have put a platform down there. Starting to get a little bit heavy just holding it up to the spigot. Leaving just a little bit of headroom, like you would in a bottle. Comes with this two-piece stopper, which is very useful. I wasn't sure how well this would keep the pressure. You know, champagne bottles can handle as much as like 90 psi. And so I was worried. I didn't want like a keg bomb, you know, instead of a bottle bomb in my house. But this was a pain and a half to get out empty. And it looks like it holds very well. I'll let you know if anything happens. I'm probably gonna put this in the garage while it conditions. I don't know if I'm gonna need this. Yeah, I am. There we go. Rubber mallet. Hey, sir. So there's still plenty left in the fermenter. This was a 2-gallon batch. I only got one of these. Just because a 2-gallon batch is not going to fill 2 of these. 3-gallon batch is what you're looking for 10 liters of like kegging or barreling. So if you get a 10-liter keg, it's a pretty 10-liter barrel. It's a pretty common size. And that's what I've used in the past to barrel your mead. You're going to want to do a 3-gallon batch. It seems like there's too much, and you want a little extra afterwards. Unlike whiskey, you want to replenish the barrel as the angels take their share. In the meantime, let's fill this champagne bottle. Okay, it's filled up pretty much to where I want it. We'll see how that goes. But you just want to make sure that it gets to sparkling and not just mildly effervescent. Yeah. A little less than a teaspoonful for a bottle this size. With, you know, some fermentation still happening. And I have this, a plastic champagne cork. You just push it in with your hand. You don't need a corker. You don't get the micro-oxygenation effect, but it's just very convenient. You don't need to use a capper. You don't need to use a corker. You just push it in with a little elbow grease. Get one of the cages. You do need them. You do not need the cage tightener, as long as you have like a pen or pencil, something with a tapered end that can give you a really consistent twisting pressure, and there you have it. A champagne bottle that I'm going to get that honey dissolved in. There's still a little bit left, so I'm going to show you swing top next. I only had one champagne bottle at the ready. Again, just a little bit of honey to this. A little more than a half teaspoon visually for a bottle this size. And I think there's just enough left for one more little bottle. Like I've said before in other episodes where I use these swing top bottles, especially when making sparkling mead, make absolutely certain that the bottles you buy are rated to handle sparkling wine, or rated to handle high gravity beer. You do not want to have one of these exploding or not carbonating at all. You want to set yourself up as best you can. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this one up. Once again, with the spigot above the bottom like this, you're not gonna get all of it. You're not gonna want all of it. You know, there's a big old yeast cake on the bottom. You do not want to have a bunch of dead yeast in the last of your bottles. It's rude. You don't want to give that to anybody. It'll taste a little weird, probably. I happen to know that this bottle is even smaller than this one. This one's 500 milliliters, this one's 12 ounces. So even less honey in this one. The smell is beyond phenomenal. I'm gonna do a quick gravity reading, because I'm not really going to be wanting to once these get carbonated. Like I've said before on the channel, because I use a refractometer, the last reading I get is kind of unreliable until I do some math to it. So I'm not gonna tell you, you know, the final gravity reading or the ABV. Just know that it's, by its reading, this is probably going to be kind of sweet, just on the sweet side. And did not achieve its full potential ABV, which I knew it wasn't going to. The yeast that I picked is known for having a high final gravity and a relatively sweet end product, even with a really high starting gravity. Now let's taste this flat Braggot. It's going to, honestly, the carbonation does so much for the taste and body of a mead. But I still wanted to get into where we're at right now. As you can see, it's really cloudy. This is to be expected. There's plenty of yeast still floating around in there. I expect it will precipitate to the bottom of all of these. You can really smell the allspice and the cardamom. And there is a bitterness and an herbaceousness on the nose. I mean, if you were to smell this, you would think, this is a Belgian beer. Ooh. Mugwort's really good. Mugwort's really good. I can see why they used it before hops. There's this light tinge of bitterness and herbaceousness floating on the top, which really brings balance to this sweet, malty beer. It's not too sweet, not by a long shot. And the bitterness and the cardamom and allspice really come together to balance it out. When the mugwort was raw, it smelled a little grassy. I don't taste any grassiness, which I do sometimes taste in hopped beers before they're carbonated. So I'm really excited to see how this handles the conditioning process in these containers. I can already tell you this is going to be phenomenal if it carbonates. There's always a toss-up. I've only had one batch not carbonate in the bottles before. It happens. It happens to all of us. It will happen to you if you do this enough. You know, it's just one of those things where you live and you learn. You know, you may want to get the forced carbonation version of a kegging system. They even make them for ones this small. You may want to try this flat. I don't recommend it because you do get a lot of beer flavor, and you will know that it tastes kind of like a really strong flat beer. Although the mugwort is much better than hops, I think. Unless you're looking for like a citrus characteristic or a floral characteristic to a very specific hop varietal. Aromatic hops do bring a lot to the table, and of course this is all opinion. There's a reason I like, mead more than beer. I like beer. I like hops. I like hoppy beers. But mugwort really brings a lot to the table in a very different way than hops do. You know, much like hops, it does have some antiseptic properties. Much like hops, it does bitter things. But it does so in a very gentle way. You know, there's a roundness and a fullness to it already. This would be really fun in like a properly corked champagne bottle. Just to get that micro-oxygenation and that aging over time. This would be really fun in a barrel as well. You know, those are things that I might do down the line. Comment down below if you want to see that. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos to see more content like this. You know, comment if you want to see more of these pop culture meads. I know I've kind of let them get away from me a little bit. Just life being what it is, it's been a little difficult to get to it. But it really is the heart and soul of this channel, and I want to do more of it. So let me know if there are any that you want me to get to. Especially if they don't already have a pre-existing official recipe. I know a lot of people have recommended the Patrick Rothfuss mead, but he has brewed it. There's an official recipe. And I'm not going to step on any toes by saying what I would do different or anything like that. Have any of you brewed that? Let me know in the comments below. How did it turn out? I'm curious. This has been Method the Meadness, and I am, as always, Burley Mullins. Thank you for watching.